Right, so now you've got your head reconditioned and ready for the next bit. The next bit is your shaft. Now what I like to do is take an untouched shaft, line it up, and you can see it's just slightly over. Now in choosing your shafts, you really want something that bends. Let's see, we've got one of my good ones. Yeah, you want something that hardly bends. If you note with this one, it bends. You want something that hardly bends. A hard wood bends less than a soft wood, but the dowels I've been getting from my suppliers have gone down in quality. So the hardwood shafts were actually snapping really easily. There was hardly any bend there, or there was too much bend there, even though it was a hardwood. And the same with the softwood, is they're just bending too much, so I'm having to find a supply at the moment. I'm having to make do. These snap very easily and you don't get as much rigidity in the arrow. They'll do, they pass, but they're bending. I think the ends need cleaning up ever so slightly. Let's clean up the ends. There we go. Cleaned up the end to a flat. Now what I like to do, squeeze it in before I glue it, like so, because what that does is it compresses the end ever so slightly. If you can probably see that, it compresses it ever so slightly, which gives you a tighter fit. And then what you do is you get your glue. You've got a choice of glues. You've got super glue. Impact adhesive is probably the best. In fact, I'll probably use the tube impact, at least I can get it into the side. So right in the bottom, and just make sure it covers everything in there. A good wood adhesive, not so good. Impact adhesive is probably better. And then what you do is you give it time to tack up. Give it time to tack up and then slide it in, and it should slide in really easy. And there you go. Don't even need to give it time to dry. Take your impact adhesive again. Probably use the tube, it's easier. And just glue your arrow base head. There you go. Go all the way around. Make sure you get a good coating. It's nice and covered. There we go, that's that bit. And take your other bit and do the same again. As well as the base of the internal, where it touches the shaft. And we leave that to dry. Back again. Now that's gone tacky. So what we're trying to do is get it all the way down the shaft and marry it up as it was, which is about there. Press it down firmly. Let it stick. And here's the trick. Take your tube of glue. Press down into your shaft and just feed it around the rubber shaft in there, get it nice and coating, like so, nice and deep. It'll squeeze out the top once you get a maximum, and then just let that dry. Right, next bit. You've got your head firmly on your shaft. Sounds dirty, but that's what you've got. Now this is ordinary furniture foam. It's good stuff, it's nice and thick and really cheap. So all I'm going to do is bite a chunk off. Now you're thinking, why recondition your heads anyway? Why recondition your arrows? Well, you can buy shop bought ones, but firstly it can be expensive. Secondly, you're relying on somebody else's work. Plus, once you know how to make them, you can watch where the failure points are. You learn from doing it. A cube will do. head. Here it is. Thickness wise, it varies. I like to have a nice chunky head on mine. So I'd say approximately 1.5 inches, 2 inches is probably a safe level. If you're just starting out or you've never done this before, take a 2 inch, because it's better to be safer than sorry. There you go, nice chunk. At this point, pick your flattest side, take your glue, impact adhesive, dance around with your glue for a bit, spread it onto your foam. Remember, this is quite porous, a good lashings of adhesive. See if it comes out the tub without drying 20 seconds later. There we go. Same with your head. Make sure you get plenty of coat. Next bit is to pop your foam onto the head. Try and line it up so you've got plenty around the outside to work with, and then just press down, stick it together, and then just leave it like that. Ideally just like that. Leaning it up against something might be a good idea, and just let that set for as long as possible. You're going to be trimming it down anyway, but it's best to let the glue go off for a time being, because you're going to be working quite hard with this, so we'll leave that for a while. Alright, back again. What we're going to do now is just carve, there we go, carve the edges away of it slightly. Produce an octagonal. Alright. Best bet, get some scissors, and basically just trim it into a circle so you get, and just keep doing this all the way around, trying to keep it as straight as possible. That's why I'm doing this outside. And a good idea is to trim around the top here. So what we're going to do is we're going to sand it. Now this should work. I've just bought a new belt sander. I've just bought a new belt sander. I've never used a belt sander before. Usually I use a thing like a flat sander or just a bit of block with sandpaper on it. But this, I'm told, is the way they do the latex swords and how they make the arrowheads. So you've got loads of material there. So if it goes wrong, I can always replace material, so I've got loads. If you look, if you look how smooth that is. There's loads of excess on there. If you look, that's how smooth it is. Loads of excess there. I haven't gone all the way down because I want a little bit over anyway. But loads of excess. So what I can do is I can trim that off ever so slightly. Alright, trim that off ever so slightly. Start up my there we have it. That's the head done. You can see you've got a little bit of roundness there. I don't want too much. You can make it a lot rounder, but I reckon that's enough for the accuracy you can get out of these things. That's enough. So there you go. Now, best thing to do, put your mark on it. Take a pen and just write your mark on the top. That way, if you're mixing it with other arches, there you go, mark on the top. Now, it's just finishing touches.